Justin Trudeau is that weird guy in the corner that instead of going along with the norm, tries to make everything inclusive and original. Yeah, he's basically just ruining global relations with people and making Canada look like a bunch of sissies, which is an accurate reflection of what Justin Trudeau as an individual is, but not Canada in totality. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we're talking about the global relations that Trudeau has yet once again shit the bed on. We have not been invited to a AUKUS meeting, which I'm going to get to in a moment. Before I get into it, I want to encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps grow the channel. And if you'd like to do a matchy match of the hat, keep calm, never vote liberal, as well as a coffee mug, then the link for that is down in the description below, as well as a bunch of other great options. Without further ado, let's get into it. So in order to understand what AUKUS is, which I will pull up the definition of what that is for those who don't know what that is, we need to understand, is nuclear energy green? And well, here's what Google has to say. Nuclear is a zero emission clean energy source. It generates power through fissions. Sorry if I'm butchering that. I don't really know what I'm reading. Through fissions, which is a process of splitting uranium atoms to produce energy. The heat released by fissions is used to create steam that spins a turbine to generate electricity without the harmful byproducts emitted by fossil fuels. But nuclear, bad. Nuclear is bad. Here's what AUKUS is. AUKUS, also styled as AUKUS, is a trilateral security pact between Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, announced on September 15th, 2021 for the Indo-Pacific region. Under the pact, the US and the UK will assist Australia, in acquiring nuclear-powered submarines. But because Justin Trudeau has been openly against nuclear energy, or more specifically, nuclear-powered submarines, we once again have not been invited to an AUKUS meeting, which is kind of important because for those who don't know, the world's most dangerous submarine is actually owned by Russia. And well, if I'm not mistaken, Russia's kind of at war with the entire world, it seems. So yeah, it would be pretty good to have these things. Former Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull told CBC News that it's his understanding Canada was not invited because of its long-standing aversion to acquiring nuclear subs. The initiative for AUKUS came about because the then Australian government, led by Mr. Scott Morrison, wanted to break the contract with France and wanted to proceed with naval nuclear propulsion, said Turnbull, referring to his country's previous plan to buy conventional submarines from France. The plan was cancelled in favor of the AUKUS arrangement. And well, they're having a meeting, and as you can see from what's on screen, there is no plans to invite Canada to join AUKUS, says the White House. This is a big fat L for Canada. I don't know about you, but I would really, really like to try our best to keep up with the United States and, I don't know, the same military powers that every other country in the entire world has. But Trudeau is thinking differently. Trudeau wants a more lithium, like, what are you going to do? Have a submarine that needs to be charged every 4.5 hours? A lithium ion powered sub, an electric sub? Like, come on, dude. Come on. He's against fossil fuels. He's all about electric, but he's against nuclear. And nuclear is kind of the most clean energy there is, clean renewable energy. But he's against it because it sounds big and mean and strong. It's an assault term, nuclear. Let's see what CTV has to say about this.
Can increasingly antagonistic relations between the United States and China be reset? In private, talks have been happening behind the scenes between the two countries, and there are reports Secretary of State Antony Blinken could be traveling to Beijing in the near future. But publicly, tensions are growing. Just over a week ago, a Chinese warship sailed dangerously close to a U.S. military ship in the Taiwan Strait, a move the Americans condemned and China defended. There's also a new report from the Wall Street Journal that China is building a station in Cuba to spy on the U.S. The Pentagon is dismissing that story, while China is calling it slander. John Kirby is the National Security Council's spokesperson. Hi, Mr. Kirby.
How many times is China going to have to interfere, not only with elections, but spy on us? For crying out loud, there was a Chinese spy balloon that went across all of North America, and then our government shot it down after it passed its trail and collected all the data that it needed. Now there was also like a Russian fighter jet that shot a bunch of fuel on an American spy drone. Like, there's retaliation from China and Russia on the global scale. You need to be equipped. I'm not saying we need to elevate this or escalate this to nuclear, because look, no one wants to get nuked. The whole world is that's going to be devastating. One nuke goes off, everyone's nukes go off. Nobody want that, especially since Russia holds kind of more nukes than everybody else. A little bit scary, but we still have to have a powerful military. And I'm sorry, but purple-haired, nose ring, no code of conduct, LGB, LPG, LSD, whatever they're called, mafia group as our military isn't going to cut it. We need proper military equipment that we're not going to donate to Ukraine. Nuclear powered submarines seems like a great thing to have.
Kirby, good to meet you and good to have you on our program.
Thanks very much for having me.
This week, when you were speaking following what happened in the Taiwan Strait, you said it indicated a growing level of aggressiveness on China's part. At the same time, your administration, your colleague Jake Sullivan, in fact, also said the U.S. wants to reset relations with China through diplomacy. Why do you want more diplomacy with a more aggressive China?
Precisely because things are getting more aggressive in places in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. It's when things are like that, when the tensions are that high, that miscalculations, misunderstandings can lead to somebody getting hurt. So it's particularly because things are so tense in the relationship that we want to make sure we're engaging in diplomacy and dialogue and seeing if we can't bring those tensions down. It's awful hard to get tensions reduced and to get understanding increased when you're not talking to one another, particularly in the military lane. And that's the channel that has been cut off.
Do you think it is likely that someone will get hurt?
It's possible. I mean, certainly nobody wants to see that happen. But when you have a Chinese warship transiting in front of a U.S. warship at about 150 yards. And trust me, I've stood on many a deck of many a warship, and that's pretty close. Or when you have a Chinese fighter jet forcing one of our aircraft to fly through its jet wash, that's also an indication of how close those two aircraft were in international airspace. There's a lot of chance for people to get hurt, and nobody wants to see it devolve into that kind of confrontation.
The devolution of the relationship between the U.S. and China, but also Canada and China, is really, our viewers are really familiar with that. We've, of course, felt it very in close proximity in this country vis-a-vis the two Michaels who were, of course, detained for so long. What are the prospects, based on how the relationship has devolved, do you think, for diplomacy to actually improve the relationship?
The president is optimistic that we will be able to get this relationship back into what we're referring to as the spirit of Bali, when he and President Xi had a 3-hour-plus meeting during the G20. And both leaders agreed that we both need to responsibly manage this relationship. It's one of the most consequential bilateral relationships in the world. And as President Biden has talked about it, it's a strategic competition, a competition that he believes the United States is well poised to succeed in. But we've got to keep the lines of communication open. So the president's optimistic that we're going to get there. Hopefully, we'll be able to get Secretary Blinken back over to Beijing in the not too distant future, and that can be followed by other senior administration officials travel to China as well to talk to them on a spate of other issues that are not necessarily security related. So there's opportunity here, and we want to take advantage of it.
It's very unfortunate that Justin Trudeau and the Liberal caucus is willing to spend $8+ billion on funding the war in Ukraine. But when it comes to not just solving our own issues, like our drug crisis, our housing crisis, our homeless crisis, just so wildfires started by arson, there's just so many different questions that come to mind. Like, what is running through your mind, Trudeau? Why are you donating so much money over there and not working on stuff that's here? But okay, let's forget about our own people. Let's just focus on protecting our borders and protecting, our sovereignty or just try not to get blow up by other countries. How do we do that? Well, fixing homelessness and fixing the drug crisis in Canada isn't going to protect us. What will is increasing our military budget for us, not increasing our military donations, but increasing our military budget for us. And a great way to do that would be, let's go with AUKUS. Let's get invited. All you have to do, Trudeau, is publicly say, yeah, you know what? I changed my mind. Nuclear powered submarines. Let's do it. It's clean energy, for crying out loud. Cleaner than lithium ion, cleaner than any other renewable energy. But no, Trudeau doesn't want to do that because it has the word nuclear in it. So that's where we're going to end the video here. I'd love to know what you guys think down below. Does this worry you that Trudeau is making himself seem like a wuss on the global stage? And in a time of conflict like we haven't really seen in a long time, this is crazy what's happening with these wars and all of the members of NATO coming together and giving so much money to Ukraine, pissing off Russia, pissing off China. Now you got Chinese subs that are coming close to American. You've got Russian fighter jets flying a little too close to other places. You got Chinese spy balloons. Where's it going to end? At what point, what bomb needs to be dropped for Canada to be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's kick things in order? Because when that happens, it's too late. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.